Hello, everybody. Ooh, I should probably change it so you can see us. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Zeros on Heroes, Collateral Benefit. My name is Mike Mercadal. With me, as always, is
Will Watkins.
Will Watkins. It feels like an age since we've been here on the stream together due to scheduling conflicts and just morose feelings of malaise after an odd election season. Vibes are off. There was a thing. Yeah.
Was it American Idol? What was it?
It was The Voice. Did you turn your chair? Did you turn your chair for the singing voice, or did you? Yeah. It's been a weird month.
Yeah. Last time I talked to you, I was 38. Now I'm 39. That's a whole year. We haven't talked to each other in a whole year.
A whole year, brother. This is happy birthday. We're so close to the dad jokes of like happening in December where you're not. It's like, oh.
Haven't seen you since last year.
Hey, I'll see you in a year, buddy. I'll see you next year. The idea of those jokes always bring me joy and a little pain. Joy and pain. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. If you're watching this in the future, which honestly, I'm happy that the future exists. It's fingers crossed. But if you're watching us, the recording of this in the future, you can always follow us at Zeros on Heroes or at Mike Mercadal, at William A. Watkins 1 or whatever on all of the social media platforms. Whatever it is. You can follow us and be notified when we go live. And then you can get in the comments and join in and join in in the show, which because we're live right now. If you're watching this in the past, how'd you do it, man? How'd you figure out time travel, huh?
Also, there are more important things you could be doing with your time travel abilities.
Do not waste this time.
Tell Kamala to go on Rogan.
We have to talk about it. It's been, let's work backwards, because I feel like on this show we strive to focus on improving our lives, right? If you improve the premise of the show, if you're new to the show watching it, it's collateral benefit. If you choose to benefit one side of your life, odds are it will something around it will also be benefited in your life. So you never know what the collateral benefit will be when you try to improve something, right? That's like the whole premise of the show. Now, it's been rough because we focus on the body and the mind as well as the community. It feels like mind and community have been getting a fucking beating this last month, because it's hard to feel it's been hard to feel good about the future, but it's also like you can't disregard yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like you still have to do things to take care of yourself. So just to work backwards, I will tell you something that has brought me joy.
What's that?
Joy.
What is that?
I've forgotten. It will happen. But can we talk about, so we're recording this on December 8th.
Mm-hmm.
At this moment, the assassin of the United Healthcare CEO is still at large.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that man's death has brought me joy, but the collective zeitgeist around it has brought me a little bit of joy, a lot of joy, hope, even almost hope, because of is this gentleman who we don't know how they identify. It's this person who murdered a man, galvanized the populace to raise class consciousness.
Yeah.
It's been kind of a crazy thing, especially I work in healthcare. I'm a healthcare professional. I work in the healthcare field. I know the horrors of the bullshit that happens when at every level when the insurance companies refuse to do what they're supposed to do. I've also seen that that it benefits people when they do pay out. The joy that you feel to be able to get the care that you need, that is a huge deal. Also, why withhold it? So it becomes this conversation. It's a very real conversation of what's the point of you again, insurance companies?
I do find it fascinating too, the response to this, in that it was Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh and a bunch of all these other alt-right type of media personalities were I can't believe the Democrats are celebrating this guy's death, and in their comments they're yeah, everybody is, man.
It's everybody. You can't pretend that there is no divide here that is arbitrary or drawn on identity politics lines. It's literally a rich person who is dictating the lives of others, lives and deaths of others, than a whole bunch of people who are not in that position.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because the first defense was, he was a good guy. He was as good, and then it turns out he's got all these lawsuits because he was committing fraud. And it's he was a terrible guy, directly and indirectly.
There's a very this may be the purchase point in which the jaws of life rip open class consciousness for people. I think. Yeah. Talking about Elon Musk is not going to let people in, because it's such a vague kind of nebulous thing that it means to be a billionaire. How does Nestle controlling water rights really affect people? But health insurance is a 1-to-1. Everyone on earth has gone through and needed medical care because everyone on earth has been born.
Yeah.
And if you live in the United States, generally speaking, you were born in a hospital. And generally speaking, there was a bill attached to it. So it's at no point is this not a clear thing that people get. You know what I mean? So talking shit about Warren Buffett isn't going to get anybody on anybody. You'd be but what if I become a billionaire, blah, 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 blah. But talking shit and murdering a insurance executive is I get it, that's an understandable situation for most people. How did you, and you're in New York right now.
Yeah.
Is there a vibe of is this like a I am Spartacus, no one wanting to turn on Robin Hood kind of
Oh
situation?
yeah. This is totally that. This is let's all go out and celebrate. Let's a lot of people post that scene from Spider-Man 2 when he's like they're like, watch out, he's a hero.
He's a hero. We will tell no, and then the little kid like, we won't tell nobody, and then they put the mask back on. I'll be honest with you, they tried to make it sound like this murderer was on the loose. It's like, no.
Yeah.
This man is not like on a wanton killing spree.
Yeah.
He's not a cop on a subway platform.
Yeah.
He is a target. Like, it's also kind of an obvious thing of like, he just thought about it a little bit and now he's gotten away with murder.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he just didn't commit the crime, he just thought about it. Everything he did to get away with the crime is like some of the most obvious shit. You'd think the cops would be able to figure it out, but they can't.
I think
it's so funny.
As much as I want to give so much credit to this dude, I don't believe he is a Batman villain level criminal genius. I would just like to point out that so many murders that happen in the United States go unsolved.
Right.
And it just so happens to be that this particular murder happened to a very rich person, and therefore people give a shit about it. Like, how many murders happened yesterday or that day that nobody's talking about? It's just that it happened to a rich guy. It's not supposed to happen to rich guys. So it's like, hey, maybe it's a good thing that these guys are starting to fear poor people.
It's something that, as a poor person, I don't think people realize how much the stuff we talk about on this show, specifically like the body, the mind, and your community, all of those things are incredibly affected by whether or not you have the funds to do anything.
Yeah.
Right. Not even anything specific. Anything. I think people forget how boring poverty is. You know, like, we both grew up pretty broke. Like we both grew up without a lot of money. We both grew up in situations. I wasn't destitute, but single mom struggling to make it. Not a lot of disposable income. So like, there was always that idea that if you couldn't afford the latest and greatest video game, you had to have a friend that had it, and if they could, and then like, that was how I made friends as a kid, and all this stuff was like, because of just out of sheer boredom, you end up doing dumb things and creative things, and you start to like learn. I think I think people forget that a lot of poverty is a lot of well-being, wellness, or whatever is affected by poverty. That's why a lot of these fitness influencers and wellness influencers now are just like trying to make money too. I hope they're afraid. I hope someone's like, hey, you convinced my grandma to stop taking her chemo medication and start eating only pomegranates, and then she died. I hope there's a little bit of fear in people giving bad medical advice on the internet also, because it's like, this is a kind of a universal understanding of like health is, and the impact, like, because you were talking about how many murders go unsolved.
Yeah.
Something like, in the time that the man was murdered to now, like a few hundred people would have died because they got denied claims by health insurance.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, what does quote unquote violence mean?
Yeah.
Right. That kind of thing. So we're always like it's amazing how much this whole, again, not the actual murder of this guy, but the situation around it has kind of galvanized everybody together. And that galvanization, that unity, has given me a sense of like, oh man, I hope we can really come together. Like, I hope people fight this.
It really is like a community building itself around Schadenfreude, where we're like, oh, that's terrible. Oh no.
Yeah.
Don't.
No, stop.
Oh
don't.
no.
Oh,
won't somebody please think of his children that are covered in blood money, who have probably similar views.
I have I've always I'm being clear on the show. This is all about us, you and me. We're not telling anybody to do anything other than what we've already done or how we think. Take it or leave it, realistically. The mob wife mentality of people with money is suddenly also right.
Yeah.
like the mob wives of these people, like, like if you don't know what a mob wife is, the idea that when all of these mobsters in the 70s and 80s were getting in trouble, and like the Gotti and the fucking all of these people were getting murdered, that they would then turn to like, how far did it go? And all of their wives who were swimming in the cash, wearing the fur coats and taking the fancy vacations would be like, I have no idea. And it's like, did you, Mrs. Soprano, not know what was going on? You like, come on. And
There's
then
there's a scene from Band of Brothers, the movie Band of Brothers, or the TV show Band of Brothers, and it's one of the final episodes where they find the camps.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to go around to the towns and get all the German civilians to come in and help with the labor, to help and everything. And there's a baker there, and I had no idea that this was good. And one of the soldiers goes, "You didn't smell that?
Yeah.
You didn't smell the decaying bodies?
Yeah.
You didn't see the ash falling from the sky?" It's like, they knew.
You got it.
This family is benefiting, and they know what their paternal figure did.
Yeah. I really think that people who do bad things should be afraid. I do think that.
Yeah.
I do, because the content, like, there's so much dialogue now being spoken about this one rich guy that you shouldn't be afraid for your life just for doing your job. Meanwhile, every teacher on earth, every teacher in the United States that has been told that you have to buy bulletproof backpacks for your kids. Here's a bucket with some chemical toilet stuff, so that just in case we have to lock down and one of your kids gets so scared they fucking piss themselves. Like, here's bulletproof doors, like, in their classroom. I love that nobody's letting him get away with it. Like, nobody's letting him get away with the argument where you're like, shut the fuck up. Like, what is wrong with you people? You guys are making the argument that we've been talking about for decades now. And now suddenly everyone is kind of like, hey, wait a minute. If you thought this from the beginning, why aren't you applying it universally? Oh, now it's your problem. We got to worry about it. So I'm sure his kids are going to hate to be thought of as, oh, you benefited from the insurance policy. I hope it gets denied. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Your dad was a bad guy. You benefited from it. I hope everybody suffers accordingly. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. I get in trouble for the fuck around and find out that's been happening since the election, that of the people who did not vote for Trump. Like, even though, like, I did not vote for Donald Trump, I'm still in the
I did.
You did?
I said I want a guy that looks exactly like me.
He does. Same abs and everything.
According to his physical, we both weigh the same and are the same height.
Yep. I mean, it's hard to tell you guys apart. Sometimes I'm like, oh, is Will on team? Oh, no, that's Trump. Oh my God, that's right. The struggle here is that everybody jokes around about the fuck around and find out, right? Like, you understand as an American, a human being, that the rich person's find out does not happen as frequently as a poor person. The same way that because Trump voters don't understand what tariffs are, they just voted with their impulses, or they are rich people who voted for their own interests.
Yeah.
I did not, but I'm still going to have to find out, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm still going to have to find out. I'm still going to suffer the finding out process for this bullshit. And I was really bummed about it. But now I'm enjoying a little bit of that schadenfreude of the wealthy finding out a little bit. Oh, they're taking your public knowledge of who's on the boards of these big giant companies making $1 bazillion. Elon Musk suddenly giving a shit about his kid and wearing his kid. Like, part of me is like, I mean, I'm sure that I hope their relationship improves, but also we know why you're doing it. We get it, So it's pretty funny to me.
What I'm hoping is going to happen, and I was critical of this prior to the election, which is that I didn't think that the people of my belief system were as aggressive as they should be. In that I was never a fan of when they go low, we go high. The very first moment was like, you're a very smart person, Madam First Lady. But that is a bad idea. And then
Bad
they
idea.
adopted that, and it was terrible. And then they were like, wow, they're weird. And I was like, that's not enough. You got to call them a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You got to call them out on their bullshit. And then that didn't work. And then now they just shot a dude in the back, and everybody's like, yeah. I'm like, that's what we should have been doing.
We should have been shooting people in the back.
Been
No,
figuratively shooting them in the back.
anyone who I always laugh when someone says violence is not the answer, because if you've never been bullied, you know that's what you would say. You would say, "Oh no, violence isn't the answer." But if you've ever been bullied in your life, you know 1000% violence is kind of the only answer. You have to defend yourself in some way. Whether in some there has to be some physical intervention in order for. I'm not saying violence, but I'm saying like physically you have to take to a level of where thoughts and prayer, like saying someone that violence is not the answer is the same way of saying thoughts and prayers. It's like there still needs to be action though, right? Like you can't just not do nothing, like you can't just express an idea and be like, job done, like that's what all of that going high does nothing if going high has no action assigned to it.
Yeah, to reach back into my Catholic upbringing, I believe it was St. Thomas Aquinas said, faith without action is dead. Unless you do something about it, you can't just be like, oh, it'd be great if I won to win the lottery. I really hope I win the lottery, but then you never buy a lottery ticket. Like, what do you think is going to happen? You think you're just going to win the lottery without buying a ticket? You got to buy the ticket.
Certain things have to happen for the results that you want. You have to, if you want the results, you got to do the steps that lead up to the possibility of those results.
There's a difference between a goal and a dream.
St. Thomas Aquinas and Herm Edwards, famous coach, a goal without a plan is a wish.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, so it's like both equally wise, gentlemen. Both equally as impactful in the public sphere. But yeah, it's true. Like all of that stuff. So to kind of watch everything go down as it has in the last couple weeks, in the couple months, it's never I will say this, I was blindsided by it because of my sheer dumb optimism. Like I was like really feeling that real hopeful stuff. I bought into it. I was like, man, I want the result I want, and I really hope that it's going to be, and I thought it was going to be enough, and it was shockingly so not, like, oh, wow, we're still in.
Yeah,
hold on, they're after me. There's a fire.
You shouldn't have worn that green hoodie, man.
I know.
They think you're the guy.
Did you see the suitcase, not suitcase, the backpack that was discovered in Central Park, where people say that it was his backpack, the shooter? And it had Monopoly money in it. Ooh. I love this guy. If it was true. Also, it could just be random people just who have the same stuff, leaving it lying around as like a joke.
Yeah. I was thinking that when that happened, I was like, you know what I should do? I should go buy a bunch of those backpacks and just leave them around Central Park in various locations. And then I don't know if somebody actually did it or it was the dude who left the backpack with the Monopoly money. I'm like, yeah, fucking yeah.
Leaving random little things. And I was like, man, is this guy the Riddler? What is this? This is so good. Because immediately no one has to guess what the motives were. We got it. Immediately. When someone said, oh, health insurance CEO who was under investigation from the DOJ, who they use an AI that denied 90% of medical claims to the detriment and deaths of people. Like immediately when someone says, like, because if someone said Bob Iger, Disney CEO, got shot, we'd be like, Jesus, what possible reason could that? But if someone said an insurance company executive got shot, we'd be like, To
be fair, if Bob Iger got shot, I'm guessing it would probably be like one of those like The Last Jedi ruined my childhood guys.
Yeah, it would be one of those. I was trying to think of like a more public figure. Like if Elon Musk got shot, it would just be like, I think people would be like, wow, crazy, like somebody did it, but it's not like it would be like confused.
If it was like one of those toxic Star Wars fans that shot Bob Iger, I'm sure the bullet casings would be like Han shot first.
Jesus Christ, the carving on the bullet case, this guy, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's straight up cinematic.
Yeah.
And it was also kind of a revelation a little bit. I don't ever plan on committing crime. I am a rule follower, good boy. I do not do these sort of things. But it makes me think how many people have been committing crimes without any flair.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like, add some style. Like, there's nothing that takes some initiative and pride in what you're doing. You know, like deny, defend, depose. Delay. No, what is it? Delay, deny, depose.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Another D word. Who knows? But it is, common practice for health insurance companies to just straight up deny claims, and then when they go to they defend it. They're like, we'll push it back until these people can't do anything else with it, and then finally when they get to the court, they depose the shit out of everybody and make it really inconvenient. And who knows how many other D's there are, but it's like anything to not pay, right? Like that's how they make money. Like it's so obvious, like that their goal is to not pay money because they keep the money, right? That's why like the Medicare for all thing and all that stuff has always been a big thing for me, because I see it firsthand, like what happens when people can't get care or delay care. Delaying care is just as deadly as denying care in some cases. So it's just interesting.
I really am enjoying another side of this, which is that everyone is nationwide, maybe even worldwide, are seeing how inept the NYPD are. Where it's this guy shot a guy at 6 a.m. in broad daylight, then took a trackable city bike to Central Park, in the most populated city in the most densely populated city, at least in the U.S., and then went to a bus terminal and then hopped on a bus, and they have no idea. And the only reason why they kind of know what he looks like is because he was so charismatic. A girl at a hostel said, "I really want to fuck you. Can I see your face?" And that's the only way they know what he looks like, is because some girl was horny for a guy at a hostel.
Side note, did you ever do comedy at that hostel in the basement, the comedy dungeon?
I probably did. I still get emails from that guy sometimes.
I still get emails from that guy. The comedy dungeon. For those people who aren't into the New York comedy scene, years and years ago, and still now, I guess that hostel, they have a basement, and this guy would set up the shittiest comedy show you've ever seen in your life, and he would give you time. That was the thing, is that you would get a bunch of time, like 10 minutes, which at the time when you're trying stuff out, it was pretty common for like regular named people or people who have since become famous. The show I did was with Aparna Nancharla. Nice. She's like been in a million things now. She writes on a bunch of stuff. She's been in stuff.
Yeah, she's a writer for the Tonight Show right now.
Yeah. So like it wasn't like an unknown thing. It was just interesting to see on Facebook how everybody was like, "Hey, I did comedy in that hostel," and it's Upper West Side, 103rd. I remember it. I remember it very clearly. And maybe did we do one together? Because I did it multiple times.
Maybe.
I think so. But it was like when I saw that, I was like, oh, he could. So now it could literally be from any country in the world, because I did that show and there was like Norwegian people, European people, because hostels really do attract the Norwegians or the Europeans. They bring out the economical side of things, where you're just like, I'll just sleep wherever, man. I don't care. And there were people in that show that did not speak English, and I would and you make do. It was a terrible show, but it was like fun.
Yeah, that's what they said. Is the bus terminal he went to had went to Boston, went to Buffalo, went to Philadelphia. Like, he could be on any international flight. Like, they were like, he could have just crossed over into Canada. He could still be in the city. They have no idea.
And ain't nobody turning that motherfucker in. Like, not one person is going to be
like... They had that lookalike contest in Washington Square Park, and everybody was like, do you think he was one of them?
He could have been.
How hilarious would that be if he was one of the lookalike people in Washington Square Park? Just to, rub it in their face.
So this is the thing about... I'm not a big fan of, true crime things. I don't watch a lot of true crime, but there was certain things like Mind Hunters, right? That show on Netflix where they talk about serial killers.
Yeah.
And Zodiac and all of these things about serial killers in the 70s, that there was this huge boom of serial killers for some reason in that era in the United States. It was so easy to get away with crime back in the day. It was so easy. And now I'm realizing if you just abandon technology a little bit,
yeah,
it's still pretty easy to commit crime. It's still crazy easy.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, he paid for everything in cash. And they were like, well, we have the backpack, and it's possible that maybe some of his sweat got on the backpack. We got his Starbucks water bottle that he got, and there was a smudged fingerprint, so maybe we could use that. And they're like, well, could you use that to track him down? They were like, well, unless he's already committed a crime and his DNA is on a file, we can't find him.
TV has ruined our brains in the sense of like CSI, like literally when there's like a murder trial, they'll ask people, do you watch like procedural crime dramas? And if you do, they'll send you home because you will have a flawed view of what it's like to investigate forensic evidence. It like literally it changed the way the criminal court system works. This is again, I'm not saying to go do it. I'm just saying what a like crazy thing in America's most populated city. It's the world city. People talk about New York. It's like this icon, this beacon of like urbanity. And then it's like, oh yeah, by the way, all of this policing is fake. I don't want to say fake, but it's all like not doing what it's supposed to do. Like, remember there was like the defund the police thing that happened a couple of years ago during COVID, where they were like, cops don't solve crimes.
Yeah.
Never has there been a more obvious case, like a more public, well-known case where cops are fucking it up. You know, it's so obvious.
They shot people dead for jumping turnstiles. Like, and they can't catch this actual guy who killed a guy.
He killed a guy. He's on camera. Camera.
One of my favorite NYPD moments that happened in my personal life is I was in the gym and somebody busted into my locker and they stole my pants. Oh no, they stole my wallet out of my pants. And they took all the money out, but they left the rest of it because they don't want the credit cards, because you can track a credit card.
Sure.
Which is smart thinking. There might have been this dude. So then I called the cops, and the cops came, and they said, how much cash did they take out? And I said, maybe like, $70. And he was like, well, we can take a statement, but we're probably not going to catch this guy. And I was like, all right, then
thank you.
Should I just not take a statement then? And they're like, yeah, it's just going to waste everybody's time. And the guy, one cop, and this is what sticks out of my head, he goes, yeah, I had my locker broken into a couple months ago, and we never got that guy either. It's like, you're the cops, and you can't catch the guy who broke into a cop's locker?
This is the part where, as much joy as I'm having the process itself is a highlighting of systemic failures.
Yeah.
The joy I'm getting of it is the people's kind of uniting of class, the awakening of class consciousness in across the board, where you look at like all the comments in Ben Shapiro's videos, and like how suddenly every healthcare claim is getting approved. There's like post after post after post after post of people like, all of a sudden, all my shit got approved. And it's like that, like, I think people forget that unions and like elections and democracy, those were all put in place to prevent us from killing the people in charge of things, right? Like a union was developed so that we don't go into the boss's office and beat the shit out of him. You know what I mean? Like that's what they did before. They would just beat that motherfucker up and steal, like kill him and take all of his shit. That's how the West was won. You know what I mean? Like that's literally how America was built. Democracy exists so that we do not have tribal like murder between, like that we have like, okay, we're going to decide here. So that there's not just rampant assassinations, like that's literally why democracy exists. And even then, if those systems start to be viewed as like, it doesn't work, they're just going to revert back to previous functioning systems, which as we see now, hey man,
I will say, I think the number one reason why Karl Marx has been vilified by every person in power is because of one quote he has, and I can't remember the quote off the top of my head, but it's basically, he believes that workers should be armed to ensure that their labor is not exploited. So Karl Marx is pro arming civilians.
Yeah,
Karl
yeah.
Marx is pro gun, pro sword, pro axe, whatever you got. Have a weapon, because if the CEOs start to take more money than they give you,
Yeah.
overthrow some shit.
I do think that is one of those things where, like, if you go far left enough, you end up on the pro-gun right. You know, like where you're like, because there's a quote, I don't know if it's the same one, but I was just looking at it. It says, under no pretext should arms and ammunition be surrendered. Any attempt to disarm the workers must be frustrated by force if necessary. It's like, hey, you like that's what I was trying to get. Like, hey, we're all just operating on the agreed upon idea that the system in place will provide civility and society. Once it stops doing that, I think people start to notice that, hey, maybe the system needs to be changed, or I'm just not going to work within the system anymore, which is what this guy did. This guy just decided, it's like, oh, I don't work in the system that doesn't have me killing you. You know what I mean? Like,
there's two things for that. One is when people ask me what kind of liberal I am, because there's a whole spectrum of liberalism right now. I tell them I'm a classic coal miner liberal, in that, when the coal miners wanted to unionize, the company sent the Pinkertons. So the coal miners took chains and shovels and pickaxes and fought against the Pinkertons. Like, I'm that kind of liberal. I'm that one.
Yeah.
And the second part is, I posted, I think you actually shared it, was talking about all these conservative dudes with the camo hats and have the Punisher stickers, and it was like, whoa, can't believe that this guy murdered a CEO. It's like, bro, take that fucking Punisher sticker off your car, because this is exactly what the Punisher would fucking do.
I think that's like a Punisher origin story.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if his whole family was murdered by the mob, and then he goes and he kills the mob, right? Like, that's his whole thing. The police, nobody helped him. So he takes matters into his own hands. If your family was killed by the mob of the insurance company,
they are.
It's happening so much. Like, I think like, as much as I hate that it has to happen, the fact that suddenly everyone's like, yeah, these health insurance companies. You know who I feel bad for? Bernie Sanders. Because that motherfucker for the last 50 years has been saying the same shit, where he's like, please, health insurance is vital and needs to be taken care of for everybody. And they made that motherfucker sound crazy. They worked against him. Everybody's like, no, we need to make our health insurance donors happy because they give us millions of dollars. It's like, wait, why are health insurance donors? What do you mean? Why does that even exist? Why do they have enough money to influence elections? It's because they steal and they kill. They're fucking they're bad guys.
Yeah.
And Bernie Sanders has been fighting for it for like 1 billion years. And everybody's like, no, I think we'll continue with this system for even now. Like, we had Biden desperately holding on to some bullshit of like some liberal policies. And I'm not even like, fuck Joe Biden, fuck Kamala Harris. They none of them did anything right. They were barely holding on to even the people. And then they decided to abandon the people that would have come out and voted for them.
You know what? When Joe Biden initially stepped down, I was like, all right, good guy. He's putting his country before his party, putting before his ego. All right, I'll respect him for that. And then I found out later that they had his initial, when they did the projection while he was still running, was him like losing. Like, Trump was going to win by like 400 electoral votes. And it was like, they fucking knew this during his last year in office, and they still pushed for it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
There's so much about that's come out since then that it's also like, look, to keep the show, to get back on track, a lot of the joy we're feeling at the raising of class consciousness and the circumstances of events are also covering up the kind of defeated feeling that we felt after the election. So there's just this constant tug of war, this desperate need to maintain a balance, which I think that that's kind of where we're at now. We're trying to benefit areas in our life to maintain a balance of like, okay, it's not all is lost, right? Like that's kind of a vibe that we're trying to go for. So in order to kind of keep things civil, like we could get into this as much, but I want to ask also, do you feel like talking about this in area? We haven't talked like this on the podcast since the election, since all of this stuff's been going on, since Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving? How, like, what are you going to do for Christmas? All of these things. Now tis the season, for like family joy and coming together. But I've never felt more divided from my family ever. I've never felt more like kind of, I don't want to say despair, but like that kind of like, well, we tried, I can't, like, just accepting our fate. But I've never felt more like kind of like nihilistic, like a casual nihilism of like, like, how it's like all is lost, nobody gives a shit that we're doomed or something, and it's like nothing I do matters. I can't really do anything, as opposed to nothing I do matters. Let me just do whatever I want to do anyway. Like there's like that balance.
Yeah, I think it was like the day after the election, I posted the gif of Two-Face when he was like, "We thought we could be decent men in decent times." That was my mood. But I do think it is that as you see in every Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Tolkien was big on this, of the darkness will always come back. Evil never dies. It just has a new face. Where it's like, it's not like you win the battle against evil and it goes away forever. It's going to come back again in some form. So I was going to be fighting anyway. I'm just going to fight harder. And it was not that this inspired me to have kids in any way, but I did see someone had a quote that said they didn't want to have kids because they didn't want to bring them into this world. And somebody responded with, when the world is full of dragons, raise dragon slayers.
Oh yeah, nice.
So it's like, I mean, not to keep on quoting fucking Lord of the Rings, but why did the ring have to come to me?
I wish it would never happened in my time.
I wish it never happened. Well, so does everybody who has to live through turbulent times.
Yeah. I prefer the Spaceballs quote where it says, Lone Star, now you see that evil will always triumph because good is dumb. There's I guess to bring it back to like what actionable items, right? Do you find talking about this sort of thing, venting, helps, or is it like, they say when you're angry, they hit a heavy bag, but then they've found that actually that makes you more angry. Like you start to, like, you carry that anger with you longer than if you would have just addressed it and purged it and thought with your feeling, sat through your feelings.
It's I think it's a common therapy practice in yoga. They call it clearing out your throat chakra. It's just, you got to get it off your chest. You can't have it on your shoulders anymore. All those classic idioms where it is, you have to, if you don't let it out of the bottle, it's just going to ferment. So there is the thing of, you don't want to be a Pollyanna. You don't want to, everything's going to be fine, guys. Don't worry about it. It's like, no, it's going to be shitty for a while.
This is fine dog.
Yeah.
No, put out the fucking fires, that kind of thing. Yeah. The idea, Pollyanna is a great reference. I don't know how many people still get that Pollyanna reference, but but it's true. Like at a certain point, what do you gain from holding everything in? It really just kind of like affects you as an individual. No one is also because of how media illiterate a lot of the people on the other side politically of the spectrum from me, they aren't going to get it. They will never read into what it is that I'm doing as like it's like I have to do the beneficial thing for myself, right? Sometimes airing it out and confrontation is the way. Sometimes it's not, but it's up to me to figure out which way, because I can't do something hoping you'll react to it the way I want you to, because you never will. You never will, right? Like it'll never be like I'm ignoring you. Yeah, it's like, You are? I'm so sorry. I didn't. What do you mean? What are you talking about? It's like, yeah, I've been ignoring you this whole time so that you would learn your lesson about this thing. Something you didn't even realize you did, nor do you care. That concept.
Yeah, the only way to come up with a solution is to acknowledge the problem. So I think that's one of the things. I think one of the collateral benefits, silver lining, whatever you want to call it, about this whole situation is that I realize just how many people are trying to play checkers in a game of chess. It's like, where it's like the American economy is the best in the world right now, that it's been improving. But I think, like Trump said, if you just keep saying the word grocery over and over again, people will be on your side.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what he did. We were talking about long-term benefits and solutions, and he was talking about short-term. This is what's going to happen tomorrow if you elect me. And all these people were playing checkers. So now I understand just how many people are so short-sighted, because I knew there was quite a few, but I didn't realize it was 51% or 49% of the voting populace.
Right. It did give me a little bit of hope to know that it doesn't, because it's so stupid. Like, everything is so dumb that you're like, oh no. I don't think of myself as overly intelligent, but also it's maybe, I don't know what it is, but I can see that the talking points are kind of bullshit. Like, wait, are you not aware of how dumb this sounds? And they're like, nope, that's my guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, is that really how intelligent the populace is? Is it an accurate reflection of the general population? Like, George Carlin has that line, is like, think about how dumb the average person is. Half of them are dumber than that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, and even there's a Joe Rogan bit. Joe Rogan, before he became like this weird propagandist, was like, people are dumb, like the average person is dumb. And he's like, he would say, like, I'm dumb, which, like, there's a bit of where, like, he thinks that the dumb people outfuck the smart people. Like, he has a whole bit highlighting his future self.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's interesting, because he talks about, is anyone finding these smart people and making sure they have kids and making sure they reproduce? Because it's genuinely idiocracy. From, like, we're in that, we've literally made it. We're literally in it. And it's like, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, it is that thing too, where it's like, you have this whole generation, especially of millennials, who grew up with not as much money as they would like. And they currently don't have as much money as they would like. And they're saying, I don't want to put my kids through the kind of living conditions I had to go through. So I'm going to hold off on having kids. But meanwhile, the dumbest motherfuckers, who don't make a lot of money and are voting against their own self-interest, are popping out like 3 or 4 kids, because fucking is free.
Yeah. I'm trying to find, I think this is, this is it here. Oh, come on, ad.
It's the man. Capitalism is trying to stop your point from being made.
For real. But the idea of let me put it this way. Idiocracy did nail it. Like, it's unfortunate, but Idiocracy nailed it. Hold on. What is happening? Did you know that if you mute an ad, it pauses it, so you have to watch the ad?
Oh, they're diabolical.
These motherfuckers.
I was thinking about that the other day, about how we are living in a idiocracy for many reasons, but the number one reason was because there's so many electrolyte powders.
Oh my God!
Electrolyte drinks being sold now. Where it's like,
electrolytes.
I'll drink electrolytes after I have a hard leg workout, especially.
Sure.
But the amount of people who are like, I put electrolytes in all my beverages, like, you're gonna have an electrolyte imbalance.
Yeah,
is what that's gonna do. And it's all electrolyte. There's electrolytes in it. This is also just code for all these other snake oils that are out there right now. Oh, you have to take L-citrulline and L-manganese and this and that.
Blah blah, like, fucking blah.
Just eat some food.
Yeah. Well, what happens is, a lot of people don't realize, your heart runs on certain electrically induce, like certain chemicals, that's what electrolyte means, so that your organs and your tissues can have juice, and your electrolytes cause repolarization and depolarization in your heart. If you have too much or not enough of something, it can send you into critical like cardiac rhythms. That's literally my whole job, is watching these heart rhythms. So when someone has like all of these electrolyte imbalances, that's what they check. When you have a crazy heart rhythm, that's what they check. And when people are just cranking, like during COVID, when people are taking like massive amounts of vitamin D and vitamin C, thinking it's like cute, I don't think people realize that also just builds up in your kidneys, and it gives you like kidney stones. And that's genuinely a set. Like it's just a problem. You know, don't do that. The balance is more important than just a big giant chunk of shit. And the thing is that, hold on, let's just hold on. Let's
As the 21st century began,
can you hear that?
human evolution
Yeah.
at a turning point. Natural selection, the process by which the strongest, the smartest, the fastest reproduced in greater numbers than the rest. A process which had once favored the noblest traits of man now began to favor
smart people.
traits. Most science fiction of the day predicted a future that was more civilized and more intelligent.
Yeah.
But as time went on, things seemed to be heading in the opposite direction. A dumbing down.
A dumbing down.
This happened.
Yeah.
Evolution does
This
not
is 2006, by the
necessarily
way.
promote intelligence. With no natural predators to thin the herd, it began to simply reward those who reproduced the most and left the intelligent to become an endangered species.
Having kids is such an important decision.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Literally.
You want to rush into, obviously.
No way.
How long has it been since you've seen this movie?
It's so long. This is literally what I just said.
Too many damn kids. Thought you was on the pill
Look,
or some shit.
the family tree in the corner is so funny to me.
Brittany! No, there's no way we could have a child now.
No.
Not with the market the way it is now.
Not with the market the way it
Doesn't
is.
make any sense.
He doesn't care about you. Yeah, well, there must be something he likes over here.
More. Just like a steady.
Well, we finally decided to have children, and I'm not pointing fingers, but it's not going well.
And this is helping.
I'm just saying that before I have in vitro, maybe you should be willing
It's
to.
always me, right?
Well, it's not my sperm count.
Yeah! I'm gonna fuck all y'all! That's my boy!
That's my boy.
Cleavon is lucky to be alive. He attempted to jump a jet ski from a lake into a swimming pool and impaled his crotch on an iron gate. But thanks to recent advances in stem cell research and the fine work of Doctors Krinsky and Altschuler, Cleavon should regain full reproductive function.
Yep, that's and then eventually, and so on and so forth. That's literally the movie. It's literally Idiocracy. We're in it. That's the opening of the movie. I cannot tell you. I'm one of those people who was like, man, I'm not going to have kids right now. Man, it's crazy. To the point where I had a vasectomy years ago, like to be like, nope, I've removed myself from this process. And now I'm like, part of me every once in a while, like, it's like, I wonder if I should have just donated it. Like, you know, first of all, I would have got paid. Did you know that if you're over 6 feet tall, you get paid a bunch of money to donate sperm?
I tried to, and they turned me down because I didn't have a bachelor's degree. Isn't that fucked up? I was like,
wait a minute.
6'3", 200 pounds, athletic build, no bad medical history, blah, blah, blah. Went through the whole thing, and they were like, yeah, we turned you down because you don't have a bachelor's degree. I was like, what the fuck?
I got approved. I don't have no bachelor's degree. What system did you go through? Because I realized after how much money I gave up by getting snipped, but the peace of mind that it brought me was also like infinite. So I can't say anything.
Yeah.
But it's so funny to me where it's like, yeah, we're going to, the dumb will outfuck the smart.
Yeah.
And we're like living in it right now. You know, we're like, I don't know. And also the problems with education and like teaching people stuff where it's like, the church in Oklahoma is like, oh, we're requiring you to buy Bibles and all stuff. And I'm just oh man, like the deck was already stacked against us. We're like, no, we can't do it. Please, it's gonna be a wild arc in humanity when the aliens discover our civilization.
Yeah,
or they're gonna be watching this like people watch Jersey Shore. They're just be like, why are you watching this trashy stuff? And they'll be like, it's interesting, it's intriguing to me. Like when we read stuff about Pompeii or like the Roman Empire or whatever. As much as we've talked about that, there is this kind of like balance, right? We have to keep going. We want to make this podcast as much as it is just us talking into microphones at each other, for our own mental health. It does feel like we haven't recorded in a while. I did feel like I missed it. Like I was genuinely like, it benefited me to have a plan for the week, to be held accountable for stuff that we wanted to be doing. Right. So for new viewers and for returning viewers, every week we do we talk about the 3 topics: body, mind, and community. Community being how you're taking your internalized self-improvement and putting it out into the world. Having that to hold us account, holding like as a fixed point that we can look back on and be like, did we achieve the goals for the week, is good, has been good for me. And I realized it only when we stopped doing it, because I was just looking at last week's. Okay, let's talk about, let's get into it. Our body goals for last time we recorded, which was over a month ago, which was a while ago. Will, yours was diet and nutrition, and mine was squats, to do more squats. What do you feel in the last month? Did you feel like you focused on your diet and nutrition? We just had Thanksgiving. We're going into the Christmas season. Do you feel like you've succeeded? Do you feel like you could have used more work? Did you focus on it? Did you even remember, that sort of thing?
I think I forgot about it because,
the world.
And, but I will say, I actually did pretty well during the Thanksgivings and whatnot. And I did not overindulge, but I did stick to my rule of if I've never had it before, I will try it. So where I work, people were sending down all their leftovers and but it was a thing of like, oh, here's some pie from Dominique Ansel, and I was like, well, I gotta try that. And it was fucking great. There was a black and white cake. It was like a big black, it was like white.
The black and white cookie cake?
Yeah, but it was like it was covered in the white, and then in between was like a chocolate buttercream frosting in between the layers, and I was like, oh, I gotta try that.
You gotta try that. Yeah,
it was phenomenal, and it was like, but I'm not upset at myself for enjoying this. And so that's what I kept with.
I struggled. We've kind of put it aside. We went to after we went to New York in October, we were like, oh, we'll try and focus. And then we had Thanksgiving. We were just like, hey, we were busy. I had work and the way the schedule is. So we didn't really have the traditional Thanksgiving, but also we weren't really focused on not having carbs or whatever.
Yeah.
And but yeah, we've done as good as we can. My big weakness is I work nights, overnight at a hospital, and now's the time of year where everybody just brings in shit all the time. So there's always leftover stuff from the day shift. I'm part raccoon, so like garbage is almost like extra enticing to me. Like there's something about a leftover where I'm like, well, I'm not gonna throw this. I can't. Whatever that PTSD from childhood trauma from like, don't clean your plate. You can't throw anything away.
I talked to my therapist about that, where I'm like, I can't waste food, and she's like, the money's been spent, you can just throw it out. And it's like, no, but it's like, I can't just throw out food. And she's like, no,
I can't.
You're gonna hate yourself for doing that. It's okay, let it go. And so that's still the thing I'm working on. I can't throw out.
It's 100%. It's amazing how real that is. But yeah, so it's interesting. I'm glad you were able to kind of like stick with it. My squat thing, I got kind of like abandoned it, but because of like energy level things and all that stuff, we didn't really get into the stuff that's kind of going on with me because we've like we'll do it next week where I got to see, because I'll be further along by then, because I got tested and got low testosterone. I've been treated for ADHD. That whole process has been part of it. I'm receiving gender affirming care like a motherfucker. I'm all about I'm being affirmed. But yeah, so like my energy levels and all that stuff and all the weird like low T stuff that has been one of the things that kind of hold me back, like genuinely feeling weaker, genuinely like worrying about like my bone strength and my back strength, you know, like having my back blown out again. That's what you refer to having herniated discs, right? Getting your back blown out. That's what that is. Yeah, having my back pain situation, like I've not really followed through with it. And now that I'm in the process of genuinely like settling into this new treatment, it's like, oh, maybe that'll be my goal for this week too. I'll just redo. Yeah. I'll just do over. Yeah. For Mind, this was right after your Disneyland trip where you went for your birthday. It was for your birthday, right?
That was the anniversary.
Anniversary with your wife. You said that you wanted to maintain a Disneyland mentality, and I said I wanted to live in reality. Boy, do I take that back. Boy, do I take mine back. What have you been able to maintain your Disneyland mentality?
No.
Well, now that the guy killed that United Health guy,
I will say
there's been a little bit of the like kind of fantasification, of the turnout of the outcome, you know?
Yeah. He's a Jesse James American outlaw character. It's kind of nice.
People are building like these are like the modern myths. Like people are building up legends about this guy.
Somebody did erotic fan fiction about him and posted it online.
Immediate, all of the culture.
Rule 34, man. It even
Rule 34.
Assassin.
Rule 34 is actually an ab workout. If you look up, like it's themed, right? So like there's a lot of pop culture references. So like if you want to look like Thor, you look up Thor Rule 34. if you're a lady and you want to look like Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, you want to wear that, so you look up Lara Croft Rule 34.
It's great. If you really want to work on like your speed and running, look up Sonic the Hedgehog Rule 34.
The surprisingly good stuff in there.
Yeah, it's so
surprisingly good stuff in there. But yeah, look that. And that's where we'll leave that. Living in reality has been a bummer. So yeah maybe I want to do some more Disneyland thinking and start doing some fantasific. I played Dungeons and Dragons today. That was fun. I was a turtle man casting magic spells. That sounds pretty fun to me. As for community, Will, you said, I hope I have the day I deserve. And I said I wanted to assemble my team and grow my garden. That is in reference to the people who were saying they'd rather be warriors in a garden than gardeners in a war, or whatever that bullshit fucking whatever that guy's name is, Jordan Peterson shit.
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about having the day you deserve? Have you been self-flagellating or inflicting harm, or been deserving goodness and peace?
It's a weird thing where you're like, I'm a good person, so I want to have good things happen to me. I'm going to do good things so that good things can happen to me. And I do feel that can lead to being jaded. And that no matter what I do, I am trying to be the nicest person I can be, yet I am still surrounded by shit. So there is that thing of like, all right, can't let the bastards get me down.
Yeah. There's a lot of that in hold on, I'm looking up a thing that you just said and I'm going to forget if I don't. It's a quote by Viktor Frankl. It's I hope it's not I want to see if I get the whole thing.
Control and domination. That's the goal.
Oh my goodness, it's an ad.
I was like, Jesus. I was like, control and domination? Is that where we're going for here, bud?
This is bullshit. I hate this. This is why ad blockers need to exist. But it's basically on why idealists are realists. It's like this speech that he gave where he talks a lot about like how if you want to, like if you're flying in an airplane and you're trying to land directly in front of you, you aim for what's in front of you, unless there's a crosswind. And then you have to aim for where to account for the margin of error that's being pushed in one direction or another. So you have to aim against the friction, against the force. Otherwise, the force will pull you off course, right? So if I'm trying to land here and the wind is pushing here, I have to aim into the hardship, right? So so that's where I got the do unto others better than you would have them do unto you, because you have to account for the margin of error, the margin of people that will take that and not give a shit. So the idealist in me is always like, yeah, and then eventually it'll balance out to some sort of realistic thing. I will land where I'm choosing to. But boy, are you burning a lot of gas. You know what I mean? When you're fighting against a headwind, it is a lot more work. It really does. You may get to where you're going, but you may be exhausted when you get there. It's a super hard process. And again, it's always like what's worth it. You know, like you as an individual get to choose that. I hope I have the day I deserve implied some action. So whether you are getting the day you deserve or not, you're still trying to have the better day. Is that what I'm getting at? Like
yeah, I think it also to help ease that jadedness, I have to lean into the therapy concept that I can only control my actions. I cannot control other people's actions.
That's a big one.
I can control my reactions to other people, but I still can't control their actions. And I have to remind myself of my core values. And I've always had the belief that if you give yourself a moral code and the actions of another person affect your moral code, you didn't have a moral code to begin with.
Right. It's not your moral code. It's a reactive, reflective thing. Yeah.
So it's like I just have to remember my core values and to not let people who I don't see as upstanding or as I would like to be affect my values and my outlook. I have to continue, like you said, I'll just lean into it and say, listen, I still have the same destination to get to.
Yeah, it's true. You know, like one of those, it's also like my core values, like my thing was assemble my team and grow my garden. I kind of feel like I have that a little bit, like, because I don't have a lot, like people are always like posting online on social media about like these weird friendships that are like, why are you friends with shitty people? Like I've kind of curated, I've always had good people. Like you're one of my best friends, my best friend, Chris, people like Alex Murray and other people that I've worked with, you know, like eventually if you really do have a moral compass, you will not be on the same path, nor will you tolerate people using that path disingenuously. Yeah. You're like, and whether you're even people you work with or whatever have the same goals, the why is also kind of important. So like I've already kind of curated my team for a while. I'm just trying to grow what that means, you know, like I'm always trying to be collaborative or work with other people and see what we can do together. I'm always trying to help other people achieve their goals and their dreams, you know, like that's always been a thing that I try to aspire to. So I'll say that that's a thing that I'm up against, that I've always done, and that has become harder with the reality of the way it is right now. The political differences, the state of the economy, geographical distances, literally us right now. Yeah. So it's something that I think I've done. I think I have kind of accomplished, but I need to maintain, if that makes sense. Yeah. So moving on with like forward from today, now that we've had this conversation and all stuff, what are some body goals that you have for this week for from this point forward?
From this point forward, I am going to try to be eating healthier in anticipation for what will probably be an onslaught of calories in the week of Christmas. So I'm going to try to be as good as possible as I can this week with my diet. And I've also I'm going to go. I haven't been taking those boxing classes in a while, so I'm going to go back to that. And those are always going to kick my ass. And so I'm going to do that as well.
Body wise, I think, the prep, the focus in prep for, I'm going to France coming up. So that will be do a little vacation before the end of the year, use up all my vacation days, my PTO.
Nice. You're going to learn how to build a guillotine?
I'm going to figure out how to get a visa to stay. But if anything, the United Healthcare guy has shown us the guillotine just too cumbersome. We have other tools. I think basically I'm going to focus on, I don't want to feel guilt on this trip. So I will make the choices I make, but I will try to, we're going to be active. We're going to be walking. It's Europe. You're just kind of more, it's just more conducive to that sort of thing, public transportation. So you end up walking a lot more. That's stuff that's fallen by the wayside here in LA because I drive everywhere now. But yeah, I think my body goals are going to be to like build a level of activity this week, hit the gym as much as I can, do my incline walking, prepare for it, really lean into like the energy building exercises, like the stuff that builds like the not cardio, not just cardio, but I feel like there's some energizing aspects to the incline walking. There's some energizing aspects to body weight exercises where I'm not burning myself out doing push-ups the same way I would be doing max bench or whatever, Yeah. There's something different about it. I don't know what it is, but I want to do that. The energizing exercise and not feeling guilty on, I guess that's more of a mental thing, but the energizing activities in prep for this trip and focusing on getting as much as I can out of the vacation.
Yeah. Good for
you. And what about your mind?
Mind is I'm going to clean my apartment.
Ooh.
Clean it as it should be cleaned, because I've kind of let it fall into disarray as far as I'll do that later.
Yeah,
I'm not going to fold those clothes. I don't have it in me. And I think that is the thing of like, wake up in the morning, make the bed. As stupid as it is that you have to make the bed every day, it does affect you when the first thing you do is make the bed. And then you're like, all right, I did that thing. Now I'm going to go do the laundry. Now I'm going to go wash the dishes. Now I'm going to do vacuum or whatever. Like, to do something, like to actively clean instead of just being like, oh, everything sucks. I just want to sit here.
I'll tell you, that is a very real thing for me, with that my mind gets affected by. And I have to credit my wife, because we do every day when we go to bed, the apartment is pretty much set like you would have it when you want it livable. And kitchen's clean, everything's put away where it needs to be put, even the pillows on the couch, all that stuff. And then because my sleep schedule is all crazy, we make the bed constantly, because it does feel like a more complete thing. If everything feels more tidy, your brain understands it and does not see it as a pending task.
Yeah.
And also, just making the bed is one of those things where a check mark on a to-do list, first thing when you wake up, starts the ball rolling.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, for sure. I think that's a great one. I mean, we that really does help in our apartment. I love our place, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that we maintain it very, like comfortable. It's very and declutter and having organization.
The worst.
It really does make things more livable and more comfortable. My mind, I guess, is in line with the vacation, is not feeling guilty, because it's the time to enjoy, right? Like, I don't want to be I don't want to go crazy, but I also don't want to withhold my joy from that I get from these experiences, because it's not like forever. It's just another path, another curve on the journey on the path. You know what I mean? So it's not like the end of my life if I have an extra croissant, or you know what I mean? Like not I want to remove the guilt from my vacation, because I will, as an investment on future focus in terms of recovery after the fact.
Yeah, you also want to live a life worth living.
Yeah.
So like,
What? Yeah,
life,
100%. That's a great. Yeah, I want to enjoy it because I'm there to. Why would I do something like spend money, go out of the way, go on vacation, see my family, do all these things to be like, I'm eating cheat, man? Why would I complain about it? Why would I not just enjoy it? You know, and I want to focus on, this is the fun part. I'll do, and even then afterwards, working out is fun. I don't get the problem, you know. So it's like I want to stop. I want to reframe, what it means to like indulge or go on vacation in my mind, so that it does not, that it's the eat a soggy French fry. These aren't soggy. These are the good ones. You know, this is the time to be eating fries. You know, that sort of thing. And as for community, how are you taking the healthy prep and the healthy eating in preparation for the holidays, and decluttering and cleaning your apartment? How's that going to help affect you in the way that you're send it out into the world?
As far as the community building, I am going to put on my best hoodie and my best mask, and I am going to bring together this country. What I will do is I will.
I mean, we're getting real Guy Fawkes mask here, right? Like we're getting real. Remember the 5th of November on this thing. So I don't know. What hoodie was it? I just like the jacket. I keep watching. I'm like, yeah, that looks like a comfortable jacket. Good, nice, warm.
Did you see that on the Masons website? The Levi's trucker jacket with a built-in hoodie is sold out.
It's a Levi's trucker jacket with built-in hoodie.
It's sold out. People have been buying it like crazy. It is the V for Vendetta Guy Fawkes mask. Everybody has one now. We are Spartacus. No, for community building, I'm going to try to remember that not everybody is evil. Sometimes they're just dumb. And I have to acknowledge that they're not as informed as they could be, and that is not villainy.
What is that quote? Never attribute to malice what can be attributed to incompetence. It's called Hanlon's razor. Don't assume. Hanlon's razor. Don't assume that somebody's being mean. They just might not be educated or aware of the situation at every level. You know, like I'm having a bad day. I stubbed my toe. I got diarrhea, something invisible to the outside. And if someone's mean to me and they're making, being inconsiderate, it's not that they know I'm in a bad mood. Maybe it's me, maybe it's just that I'm not aware of it. They're not aware of I'm already having a shitty day. I don't know how I will take my energizing activities and removing guilt from the diet on my vacation. But I'll say this, I will go on my vacation representing my, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it has never been more obvious that America as a generalization is dumb.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not even like a question anymore. Like it's not like even though I am in the minority of people, I consider myself, I'm a little more learned. I'm a little more aware. I have a little bit more knowledge on certain facts and things like that. I'm still dumb, right? I'm just repeating stuff that smart people say. So I would like to go and represent myself. I'm no longer traveling. I'm a citizen of the world. What does they say about Superman? I want to learn as much as I can on this trip and represent and just embrace my desire for knowledge about the world.
Yeah.
And in doing so, I want to ask questions. I want to talk to people. I want to say hello. I want to communicate. I want to be social. And I want to, I made a friend at the gym. I talked to some guy at the gym and I was like, hey, what's up? I was asking him about a word. I was like, hey, do you find your back hurts when you do that? My back hurts when I do it that way. Oh, as you do it this way. Oh, whatever. And we just started chit-chatting. And I was like, hey, that's nice. You know what I mean? So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to walk around Paris asking people how to do a workout. Hey, does that your back hurt when you do it? No, but I'm going to go. I want to go on this vacation and really kind of be a citizen of the world and embrace the communication. I want to like maybe practice my French. Why not? You know, so I can speak to more people, learn more language. I want to. Yeah, that's the universal. What is the Babel fish that you have? To be able to communicate with everybody.
Yeah, do that.
I don't know. That's kind of let me get a more concrete one.
No, that's good.
Yeah, that's good. I'm going to learn languages. Speak
You're
French.
going to tell France that not everybody is idiocracy.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to try to refute idiocracy to the French. Good luck to me. But yeah, no, I mean, it is going to be a great time, super fun time. This is one of my favorite times of the year. I will not have it be ruined by the world at large, politics in general. We'll have plenty of that in January.
Yeah. When are you going? What dates?
The 14th through the 23rd, back for Christmas. I have to work.
Nice.
But yeah, we're going to Paris and to Strasbourg, where my family lives, and it's going to be lovely and full of heavy, creamy, starchy, carby goodness. It's going to be great. Thank you everybody for watching. If you enjoyed the show, send us your mind, body, and community goals for the day. We have an email address and you can send it to @zeros-on-heroes@gmail.com or send it to zeros on like social media is rotted.
They know how to use email.
They know how to use email. You can also follow us at Mike Mercadal, at William A. Watkins on social media. You can follow I think on Facebook too, you can get Zeros on Heroes and all that sort of stuff, Facebook and YouTube and our Twitch. The Twitch channel's active and running. I don't know.
Oh, nice.
I figure out how to promote it more. Please like, share, and subscribe. And please join us in the comments if you're ever watching us live. Share with us your mind, body, and community goals, and we'll talk about it.
This one was a little more cathartic with a lot of
it really was
airing of grievances. This is our Festivus episode.
This is our Festivus episode. Next time will be a much more focused and
holly jolly.
We'll have a holly jolly collateral benefit. Thank you everybody for watching. Will, looking good.
Hey, I'm just trying to look like you, brother.
Just trying to look like you. Thank you everybody for watching. Remember to go out and be heroic.